Russia reiterates its stand about the need to solve the Syrian crisis politically and affirms the importance of the tribes' participation in the efforts to stop the violence and start reconstruction. Syrian Arab army units continue to defeat armed terrorist groups across the country. After bringing al-Mosul dam under their control, Iraqi troops liberate west of Tikrit and eliminate scores of terrorists. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Irado Krikorian with the news in English. Russia has reiterated its unwavering stand towards the crisis in Syria, affirming that it can only be solved through political means. Commenting on the meeting between the Russian Special Envoy of Middle Eastern Affairs, Mikhail Bogdanov, with the delegation of the tribes' chiefs' councils in northeast of Syria, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement that basic attention during the course of discussion focused on the situation in the tribes' areas northeast of Syria in light of the sharp increase of the crimes of al-Qaeda-linked Islamic State of Iraq and Levant. The Russian Foreign Ministry added that the two sides have also affirmed that the crisis in Syria can only be settled through inter-Syrian dialogue. The ministry said discussion has also covered the involvement of the Syrian tribes' councils in the political process in a manner that serves the interest of putting an end to violence and starting the reconstruction of the destroyed economic and social infrastructure in the country. A Syrian Arab army unit has foiled an attempt by terrorists to infiltrate into Ain al-Darb village, eliminating a large number of them and wounding others. In Homs, several terrorists were moreover killed or wounded by a Syrian Arab army unit near Dawar al-Muhandisin in Al-Ghouta and in front of the 5th and 6th blocks in Al-War. In the governorate's countryside, big losses have been inflicted on armed men in Al-Baroutiya, al-Rish and Al-Wudayhi, as well as in Aqrab village and in the vicinity of Al-Hula and in the direction of Jabburin and Sharshuh, destroying their weapons and vehicles. The Syrian Arab army units also thwarted terrorists' attempt to infiltrate from ancient Al-War in the direction of Al-War orchards, as well as in Ad-Dananir village in the suburbs of Al-Bise, eliminating and wounding a large number of them. In Dar'a suburbs, a Syrian Arab army unit has targeted terrorist gatherings in Al-Yaduda and Atman, maintaining control over the area and cutting off the supply roads to terrorists. Thanks to the heroisms of the Syrian Arab Army's soldiers who have restored security to the industrial town in Sheikh Najjar in Aleppo, the wheel of work has started to run again, reviving the Syrian industry. A number of industrialists have returned to their factories and resumed work within the currently available circumstances, pledging to rebuild what the terrorists have destroyed. The Syrian Red Crescent organization has received urgent medical assistance from the Chinese government in the amount of 20 million Chinese yuans to be dedicated to the families affected by the current crisis inside Syria through the organization's various medical centers.
The Syrian Arab Red Crescent organization has received urgent medical assistance from the Chinese government in the value of 20 million Chinese yuans to be used to help the families affected by the current crisis inside Syria through the organization's medical centers across the country. The assistance includes medical material comprising antibiotics, first aid material, badges, thermometers, pressure devices, medical headphones, cotton, medical plasters, serum devices, syringes, blood transfusion devices, and medical gloves.
The second time, I think the Chinese government have been giving to the Syrian Red Crescent such material which really badly need. This it will be distributed for all our branches and sub-branches with coordination with the Ministry of Health and also our branches. This aid can be, I think, additional what is our government have been giving to the all, I think, the branches and supporting. And we promise, I think, all our partners that this kind of aid, it will be reaching the most vulnerable people on the ground of all Syria.
The Chinese government attached great importance to the humanitarian situation in Syria. We know that the Syrian people suffered a lot in the past more than 3 years. People cannot live their normal lives and many lost their lives. We feel very sorry and painful for that. And we have did our best to try to change the situation by different means. We have provided humanitarian aid to the Syrian people inside Syria or to the Syrian refugees in the neighboring countries several times through different channels.
It is to be noted that the Chinese government had presented similar assistance early 2014, comprising 20,000 woolen blankets, 20,000 bed covers, which were distributed by the Syrian Red Crescent organization among the needy across the country.
Welcome back. In Iraq, the Iraqi armed forces continue to strike the terrorist gatherings, regaining control on al-Mosul Dam. Iraqi army also controlled today the area of Adyum, west of Tikrit, and the area of Shishin, southwest of the city, after launching an operation supported by the military aircraft, killing many terrorists from Daesh. In Al-Anbar, Iraqi forces supported by the Iraqi tribes foiled 2 attacks by Daesh on al-Ramadi. Iraqi acting Prime Minister Haidar al-Abbadi said that terrorism doesn't threaten Iraq only but the whole region and the world, calling on all countries to face this risk. During his meeting with the Lebanese Foreign Minister Jubran Basil in Baghdad, al-Abbadi said that the world is aware of the threat of terrorism, hoping for more cooperation through forming an international intelligence system to detect the terrorists from the so-called the state of Iraq and the Levant and to eliminate them. During his meeting with Romanian Deputy Foreign Minister Carmen Burlaco in Tehran, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Jawad Zarif stressed that the phenomena of terrorism and extremism is extending in the region, particularly in Syria and Iraq. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Jawad Zarif stressed that terrorism and extremism phenomena has no border, so it can threaten security in Europe and the whole world. He clarified that proposal titled World Against Violence and Extremism Wave, which was posed by Iran last year at the UN General Assembly, could be the basis for cooperation and international activities to combat violence and extremism. Finally, the reality of the new war, which is being waged on Syria, has been uncovered by the tongues of its own perpetrators.
The truth about what's happening in the Arab world lies in the corridors of the Zionist lobby, which is ruling the world. During a lecture in Israel on the occasion of the annual conference of the security of the Western Hemisphere, Professor Max Manorange, a researcher in the military strategies, spoke about a fourth-generation war currently waged to replace the direct wars.
Fourth-generation asymmetric war. And whether we like it or not, whether we're prepared for it or not, or whether we want it or not, it's here. It's with us. We are dealing with it. We are engaged in a fourth-generation asymmetric war.
He called it a fourth generation of asymmetric war, which has the objective of making the targeted country wither slowly but surely by making it destroy itself from the inside by its own people through targeting the brains, spreading destabilization, then creating a transnational problem and consequently necessitating the need for transnational solutions.
The objective is to wear down slowly but surely the will of the targeted country.
Manorange clearly explained how the objective of the new war is achieved by creating a so-called opposition and rebels, by supporting them to create a failing state, then by turning this failing state into one that can be divided.
And the only way we can deal with them effectively is because since they are transnational problems, What kind of solutions do we need? Ta-da! Transnational solutions.
In a TV show called Al-Ittijah al-Mu'akis, or the opposite direction, Kamal al-Labwani, who is from the so-called Istanbul coalition and who has repeatedly called for peace with Israel and even asked for Israel's support to strike Syria, appeared and admitted that he and his opposition team have been forced to agree to certain demands by the West.
They are trying to play a role and to control the game. They are trying to impose an opposition from the outside, from the windows. They are trying to drag us into a state of multi-components. The U.S. compelled us to sign an agreement that the Syrian people are not one fabric, that they are more than one people, and that Syria is a federal state. They compelled us by using pressure and influence. Ambassadors came and told us such a project must pass. However, the project was not passed by a majority. More than one official did call me to tell me that the plane must pass. This is why they keep saying that the Syrian people are of multi-components.
Even if this man has signed such a paper telling that Syria is divided, yet the Syrian people who rallied behind the Syrian Arab Army have defied the Western schemes and will continue to deal a blow to the enemy in this diabolic four-generation war.
With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Nariman Qassam, but after a short break.